All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD, and hello. It is almost May, and it's time for episode 7 of From Paris with Creep. But the reason why I was mentioning May is because on May 15th, we all know that Diablo 3 is coming out, and I cannot wait to go ahead and get on those servers and play with you guys. It's going to be so fun. I'm probably going to make a barbarian because that's my guy, that's my hero. Either that or I wish I saw the Amazon. They don't have him anymore, so maybe the Demon Hunter. But we'll see what happens. Cannot wait. I'll make some videos about that when the game is released. But here we are. It's episode 7 of From Paris with Creep, and we have Origin with an E. Maybe it's a silent E. He's going to be Origin. He's the Red Terran at the 9 o'clock position. And the map is, of course, Shattered Temple. His opponent, of course, the star of the series, is Stefano, currently on a tear, on a rampage. He's a wrecking ball and is now currently 6-0 and only needs one more win to at least match the record of his counterpart, TLO. Just needs one more win. Remember, TLO went 7-2. I'm not too sure if I'm going to go 9 games in this season or not, but Stefano so far is just doing perfect, man. He is really good. And what does it take to take Stefano down? That's the question I'm asking myself now. I don't think a Protoss can do it yet, until Heart of the Storm comes out or until Blizzard decides to change the matchup a bit. Because right now I do think it's a bit skewed, at least in the foreign scene. Certainly Zerg has a very big favoring right now. In the Korean scene, not so much. But someone's gonna have to figure out how to deal with Stefano. Terran, perhaps? Origin here stepping up to the plate. And this is, of course, following the loss of Strider in the last matchup. And we'll see if Origin can do what the last Terran could not. And we'll see what happens, man. This is a pretty decent map for Terran. Of course, it's not the version with Lost Temple with the rocks over here. You cannot siege the hatchery. But you can do a lot of other cute, nifty things as well. And we'll see what happens. Origin now placing a supply depot at the front door. That's pretty common. We'd expect that from Terrans against Zerg to block off the Zergling attempts at getting into the base. One refinery here after the barracks, and all signs indicating that Origin wants to go into the reactor factory build, thereby giving him the ability to make Hellions 2 at a time. That SCV is blocked. And it looks like the SCV will make its way out. Not before it gets a scout, though. So Origin doing a decent job so far. But of course, usually the first 4 minutes of StarCraft 2 are all procedural. You know, and any player at this high level should be able to execute all the builds pretty well, unless, you know, some cheese comes out. This is where things start to get interesting, though. We can see that there is going to be a bunker harass play from Origin. Stefano trying to keep the Overlord as food bait. And doing a nice job, I guess, of that. And it looks like Origin is not going to commit to the bunker, which is a wise decision. It's a little late for that. There's already Zerglings out. He's going to wait for Hellions to come, and then he's going to try to get inside and make some harass happen. Now, what Zergs usually want to do to respond to this is to get 2 crawlers, at least one to 2. And we can see one on the way. Stefano is also working the rocks down, leading over to the 3rd area. That's nice, actually. I like that. Usually Zergs would go for the gold. It's really kind of a preference thing, but because I guess because he just wants to, he's going to go for the bottom right expansion, or at least break down the rocks first, so that he doesn't have to worry about units on the high ground getting vision on him. So he's gonna work that down first. And that SCV might make its way, and it will. We could see the Spine Crawler try to reach and get a last hit in, but it wasn't able to. And will the SCV get any good information out of this? It's unlikely. He is probably going to go down right there. Good micro by Stefano to get rid of that. And back inside the base of Origin, we do have a command center on the way, as most Terrans after the factory will typically go for the natural expansion. And we can see that there is Stimpak on the tech lab, as that's pretty common for Terran as well. After you open up with the reactor factory, you get map control with the Hellions, and then what you do is you get your first tech lab on your first barracks, so that you can get your upgrades going for your bio, because eventually you're going to switch into that mass Marine style with tank support. And the Marines need Stimpak, they need combat shields, they need all those upgrades to be able to combat the Zerg. And can see 4 Hellions now just controlling the minimap, but the thing here is that I really like what Stefano's doing. Not only is he placing the Evo Chamber at a spot which makes it less likely for Hellions to run in, he's also got the Queen there, but what I also like is the Spine Crawler all the way at the edge of the creep, so that helps tumors spread out if Stefano needs to. He's also got a lot of Zerglings back here as well, and speed should have finished up already a long time ago. We can see it has. So if Origin's not careful here, this is the thing about Terran players placing a bunch of Hellions at the front door. You have to be constantly aware, because if you're not and Zerglings surround those Hellions, you just lose all forms of map control. You're in so much trouble. We can look back at the base here, and Origin has nothing but a bare handful of Marines. So it's very important for him to keep these Hellions, you know, constantly on attention. Cannot let them get lazy. There is no TV to watch here. A couple Roaches pushing out here, and it looks like Origin will probably have to pull the Hellions away. Stefano is actually a big user of Roaches in Zerg versus Terran. He loves to get Roaches to regain control of the map against Hellions. Now he's going to be the one on the Xel'Naga Tower. And meanwhile, let's see what kind of tech he's researching. He's got +1 armor coming right now for Zerg ground. He's also got the 3rd hatchery at the bottom right-hand corner. And the one thing I like about expanding to the bottom right here is that any attacks that try to come through that location will have to funnel past the crawler, unless he takes the liberty to break down these rocks, which of course act as a natural deterrent. So that's kind of nice for Stefano. And now he's going to try to surround the Hellions with his Roaches. Gets a couple of Hellion kills, not too shabby. And that's why Stefano loves his Roaches in Zerg versus Terran. He just loves to regain map control. He likes to corner the Terrans in. He wants to get rid of all the Hellions, and then all he's got to worry about is pretty much Marines, and then the beginning, just the bare fledglings of the tanks, which Roaches aren't too shabby against at all either. And we have units coming up in here. What a play by Stefano, sending all of his ground troops up to the 12 o'clock, cornering in the units. And because Origin sees so many Roaches, he has to make Marauders, which are typically not the game plan for TBZ. We also, I believe, have a medevac coming out of the starport. There should be a couple of medevacs in the skies already. There they are, just accompanying the ground troops. But, you know, Stefano kind of just running away with this game right now. He's certainly on 3 bases, and we can see him beginning to mass up that drone count into just an unmanageable number. 62 over 42. And really, the onus right now is on the Terran. He's got to do something. He's got to make an attack happen. He's got to try to find an opening into the base and harass the drones. This is what Terrans have to do versus Zerg. Otherwise, the Zerg just becomes an unstoppable force. So we'll see if Origin can get inside here and maybe make something happen. He's got some Marines and Marauders and 2 medevacs making their way over to the right. We can see, as I said before, the bare beginnings of siege tanks now coming onto the field. But siege mode is still a long ways away. And here comes a drop from Origin, hoping to maybe strike down this 3rd hatchery. Now, because he's got Marauders in play as well, he can take it. He can do a lot of damage. But somehow Stefano knows this is coming. I don't even know how. But he's sending all of his Roaches and Zerglings to the right, and it's totally going to intercept this army. I don't even know how Stefano knew that that was happening. Really, those medevacs I thought were clear and were never caught by any overlords or creep. But Stefano just has a sixth sense about these things, and he was able to take out that drop very easily. And, you know, this is not looking good for Origin at all. He's got a 3rd orbital command, or at least a command center now, adding on more barracks. What is Origin going to do to stop Stefano? His army is just so puny. He's got 1 tank, 1 siege tank, 2 tanks in a couple of seconds here. It looks like his army is going to get caught as well. Comsat going down, sees the army coming in, and he has to back up. He has enough medevacs to save his troops, so that's good for him. But now going to try to once again drop into the right-hand corner, but Stefano's already there, prepared with plenty of Roaches and Zerglings. Oh my god, it's a swarm. And fungal growth comes down just for good measure. Those medevacs are done for. Yeah, it looks like the chain fungal coming down to lock down the last medevac. Meanwhile, 2 more medevacs coming into the left side here. This may be what Origin was hoping to do. And if he could get some damage in here, that would be a really good thing. Of course, all the ground troops over on the right-hand side. What can Origin do here? He's got to try to take out the layer, man. No, he evacuates, I think, a little prematurely. I think he had an opportunity to do a lot more damage, but decides to run away. Of course, one fear in the back of all Terran minds is that an infestor is about to pop out somewhere. You know, these eggs, you don't know what's coming. And if Pathogen Glands is researched already, as soon as the infestor hatches out, it has enough energy to fungal. So one can certainly understand Origin's hesitation to stay any longer. And he decides to fall away. A couple of Marines, you know, dispatched to kill off tumors, but those Marines pretty much had a death sentence on their heads. And the Zerglings quickly rushing to save their home. Origin was able to get a third. He is going to try to drop once again, but oh my god, everything gets fungaled. No, no, Origin is just getting pretty much dismantled by Stefano. This is Stefano just saying, you know what, I need to go to Korea. I'm done out here in the foreign lands. I've shown what I can do, and nobody can hold a candle to me. Nobody. I am the best Zerg. I'm the best StarCraft 2 player outside of Korea right now, and certainly no one can argue with that. But we'll see. Can Origin make something happen here? It's 182 to 122 now. This has just been a dismantling by Stefano. Stefano is now going to try to break down the rocks leading into the third. And with the Zerglings doing 2 damage, extra damage per attack, that is 7 total. You're going to be able to break those rocks down very quickly. Meanwhile, it looks like we have a drop once again by Origin, but it's completely deflected. Stefano is so prepared, so ready. Now the Origin's got to send Vikings to clear the Overlords first, and he should have done this earlier. Kill the Overlords before dropping, because any good Zerg will be looking at the minimap, and they'll see those dropships coming in if you don't take out the Overlords. And now it looks like the rocks have gone down. There are some Marauders here. I think the Marauders could make a stand. Maybe, maybe not. The Zerglings are 2-2, and yeah, they are going to be able to make a stand because of backups arriving and the medevac. And looks like more Overlords going to drop here, so that Viking happily says, you know, now I killed off 4 Overlords, now you can drop. But hey, Stefano says, nope, I'm going to send 2 more Overlords into the dropping lanes. And once again, vision has been reestablished, order has been restored for Stefano, and this Viking, with his 4 Overlord kills, is now going to drop to the Zerg as well. You know, one thing that Origin's not doing too bad at right now is his army. His army is not too shabby. He's got a lot of tanks and Marines, 5 tanks, 6 tanks actually on the production tab. He can siege everything up and secure this gold. That's what Origin needs to do right now. Get the gold, secure, siege up, bunker up, get sensor towers placed, do everything you can. He might not be in too shabby of a spot, but here comes the Roaches. Stefano at 2 armor, just running in here, absorbing shot after shot. To kill off a siege tank. I don't know about that. I don't know what Stefano is trying to pull off there. Maybe, he was just clearing up supply. That makes a lot of sense. Doesn't need Roaches in the late game. Gonna clear up the supply because Roaches are pretty slow and not so good against the Terran at this stage. And he's gonna replenish that with Broodlords, and now we have a problem. Adrenal Glands also just finishing up for Zerg as well. Medevac making its way over to the right. It was caught by an Overlord, however. And look at that, Stefano paying attention to every intersection, every junction where an attack can come. And he's already prepared for that drop. I don't think that's gonna do much damage at all. Meanwhile, Roaches encountering a supply depot wall as the Marines run inside. Marauders will sandwich that in between. And the drop was deflected. Oh, more than deflected. It was eradicated. It was vaporized. And Stefano, just to toy with his opponent, leaves the medevac alive as a taunt, really, to the Terran army. Oh, this is so defiant. Stefano is just unstoppable. And I think with the Broodlords now out in the skies, this is pretty much in Stefano's hands unless Origin makes a huge mistake. He doesn't have any Vikings. Excuse me, unless Stefano makes a huge mistake. Origin doesn't have any Vikings. And here we go. 1 fungal, catching the army in the front. Those units are going to be eaten alive. And now Origin's got to back up and siege up his tanks. But no Vikings, no bunkers. He doesn't have the army to combat Stefano, and really it just looks like Stefano right now is a league ahead of his opponent. He is literally on tier 3 while Origin is still on tier 2. And it's just going to be a complete rundown here. A total molestation of the Terran. And the Zerglings and Broodlings are running as siblings side by side, just ravaging the countryside. And there's only a pocket full of Marines left. But as soon as they get next to these infestors, they will be fungal. There are a couple doors coming out. Oh! The Thor from the Collector's Edition has arrived. Can they do that? Can they save the day? They are here. They are here. But they are going to die, and that's... there's no way they can hold this off. And that is what Stefano thinks about those Collector Edition Thors. And GG. Any advice? Well, Stefano, in episode 7 of From Paris with Creeps, certainly showcasing how to completely dismantle a Terran. And if you guys are running just how far ahead Stefano is ahead of the pack, this is pretty much how far ahead he really is. And there's some more French, so hopefully you guys out there from Canada or France can, or if you guys understand French, can translate that. But really, Stefano running a shot and not looking back at all. Good game. And I don't think there's really much to really analyze in this game at all, except that Stefano throughout the game just kind of went, he was just in a league of his own, really. He was unstoppable, and pretty much textbook ZVT win. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast, and we're going to have a couple more games coming out here from Paris with Creep. Enjoy! Episode 8 coming out next.